Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hesitation Station podcast. I am Jay, along with my co-host Tank. How's it going, buddy?
I got lost on the way and I had to use the map, but yeah, I got here.
That was a nice segue. Good job. How's your week been going so far, man?
Man, I can't wait for the weekend. I can't wait till August. I need a fucking vacation.
Yeah, yeah, true. Well, we actually got another guest on today. Can you believe it? Oh my god!
Did he use a map too?
He did use a map. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Joshiiwuhh. I think I said that right.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you.
Cool.
Welcome. Thank you for welcoming me. I'm excited to be on you guys' podcast.
We are excited
for coming
here.
Of course.
So, what's been up with you, man? I know you've been busy lately.
Oh yeah, no, crazy busy. We just got back from VidCon. We were like featured guests out there, which is really cool. It's the first time we ever happened. Met a lot of creators out there to the point where we're actually going back to LA and just having like a week of content creation with all of them. Mm-hmm. Have two more conventions coming up where we're doing panels. On top of that, I'm constantly trying to be making videos. We're doing our first ghost hunt ever. We decided we're going to do a ghost hunting thing. So I like rented the actual Conjuring house for a night. And we're going to go there. That's like in a couple of weeks. So I'm really excited about that because I love all things horror. So yeah, it's got tons of stuff constantly going on.
Can I come?
Yeah, sure. Everybody's more sacrifices.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yo, hold up. I volunteer as tribute. So when he first told me you were coming on, I was like, who? And he was like, you remember the Dora? And I was like, which one? Because there's your sister, and then there's the swole one, and then there's the Russian one, and I love all of them. It's so much fun. And actually, you and your sister are the first ones that I ran into. I found y'all, and then I found the swole one, and then I found the Russian one, and I'm just like, where was this Dora? I would have loved watching this. Just turn it into a horror theme, and it's just like, all right, we need the map to help hide the body. Where's the map? All right, backpack, come and get the shovel. I loved it.
I think there's something so entertaining about just taking like childhood like cartoons and just like making them really dark. I don't know why.
Yeah,
it's so fascinating.
I think that scratches an itch that a lot of people don't know they have, because you see, like, one of our favorite guys, Meat Canyon, does all different types of videos with like Scooby Doo or Ed, Edd and Eddie or you know, what have you, and it's a different perspective.
Yeah. No, people like, they love like just twisting like childhood cartoons. Like there's that whole I don't know if you know about the whole like evil Disney horror cinematic universe, like the evil Winnie the Pooh horror movies. There's like a sequel out, and they're making a bunch of others. They're gonna make their own basically MCU of just all Disney movies, but like the horror versions of them.
The Poohverse.
Poohverse, yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah,
and there's like a Grinch one that came out, a Grinch horror movie that came out like in Christmas time last year. There's like so many of them out right now.
So I've watched the Grinch one and I've watched the first Winnie the Pooh one. Me and my wife just found out like a couple days ago that the sequel to the Winnie the Pooh is already out. So I'm excited about that.
So I saw the first one, saw the second one. I actually missed the Grinch one. I have to see that one still.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
It's crazy. Right? It's crazy to think that I mean, I know you do a lot of like Dora stuff with your sister and everything of that nature, but it's crazy to think that you are a horror fanatic, because we are too. Matter of fact, we did a panel on horror. Oh, really? Yeah, I think that was our first panel, right? Because we had to come up. I
think so.
And so we were just pulling out horror movies from like the 80s, 90s, and like mid 2000s. We're just like, we got this.
Oh, that's awesome. No, we're actually hosting our first ever panel this coming week at an anime convention. That one's more, our panels are more like just centered on content creation. But then we're doing one in August that's at a horror convention. So it's going to be like kind of the same thing again, but with the horror twist because we do so many different types of horror parodies. So we're really excited for that. But that's cool that you guys also like had your own horror panel.
I was gonna get a tattoo right here, but I ended up not affording it, and it was gonna be a Pennywise tattoo. But I ended up bailing out because I didn't have the money and stuff came up. So, but it is what it is.
That's life.
That's life. But yeah, the panels are fun, dude. You said this is your first panel coming up. We've done multiple, which we never thought we would do. I know you and Brandy are going to, what is it, Riley?
Yeah, Raleigh, North Carolina. It's called GalaxyCon. That's the one this week.
Ooh.
Yeah, they saw that on their story. They got invited to it.
I've been wanting to go up there. I've seen a lot of they put the flyers out, and there's usually a pretty good list of guests that go up to GalaxyCon.
Yeah, no, we wanted to try hosting our own. We've been pushing to like get featured at VidCon, and we weren't featured this year, but we were like invited guests, which is like one step below. You still get to go there for free. You have your own like little meet and greet and everything, but you're not like part of any of the featured programs. But at the same time, we've been trying to just reach out to I started reaching out to other conventions because we wanted to be involved in those in some way. So like the one we're doing in August, we're actually kind of like on the featured guest list. So there we're going to have our own little area we can like interact with fans, but we're also going to have a panel. But then the one this coming week, though, we actually just have a panel, but they like let us, come up with our own whole like fun twist on the content creation stuff. And excited for that though. And GalaxyCon, I've been wanting to go anyways, but because you said like the list of all the celebrities that are going to be there, me and my sister were geeking out on some of those people too. So hoping to meet some of them.
Who are you most excited to meet?
Voice actors for sure. I'm trying to get into voice acting myself. So any of the voice actors. I think there was I'm most excited would have probably been Neve Campbell because I love the Scream movies and but I think she dropped out. She was going to be there though, I think.
No. Yeah, that was she played Sydney, right?
Yeah, from the Scream movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I tried to get the actor for Jason on. What's his name? Kane Hodder? Is that it?
Kane Hodder.
Kane Hodder. Tried to get him on one time, but he was so nice. Like his agent and him were so nice, and they're like, "Look, you tried to get us on in October. You do the math there."
Yeah.
So, but as far as I know, I met Bob Elmore. Is that his name? He's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He was really nice, and it's weird because you see these like sadistic people going around killing people, and it's like, oh hey, how you doing? I'm like,
It's funny you mentioned that because I was just talking with one of my friends today, another content creator, and we were talking about how me and my sister we've met a ton of creators last week at a couple weeks ago at VidCon, and a lot of the people with the darkest senses of humor or the most like raunchy type of videos are actually the nicest people you'll ever meet. And on the flip side too, there's been a couple times where you see somebody and you think like, oh, they're probably really nice in person, but like I've heard a lot of stories with celebrities where you think that the celebrities are really nice, but then there's like stories about them being just like horrible on set. Mm-hmm. It's like the whole never judge a book by its cover thing.
Right.
Definitely applies there.
We've been to quite a few cons, especially now that we started working them. And thankfully, most of the interactions I've had at the cons we've been to have been relatively good interactions. But I mean, you do get stories of people going and meeting other people or meeting celebrities or voice actors or anything, and they're not necessarily flattering stories. A lot of the time I try to attribute that to, when they go to cons, they've got a set schedule. They've got a set amount of time that they have to do things. So maybe they're just having a bad day. But every once in a while you find that one that really is just a dick.
I think that definitely could be a part of it too, because there's one convention we went to and we were waiting in line for like a really big voice actor, and they ended up going on break right after meeting us. But we were in line for 2 hours, so 2 hours straight that they were like talking to people, taking pictures and stuff. And so like at the same time, that's got to be so draining. And by the time we got to them, you could tell like they were just out of it completely. But if somebody had like, there could be people that misinterpret that as being like, oh, they weren't very warm and welcoming, but in reality, like they'd just been talking for 2 hours straight and signing autographs for 2 hours straight. So a lot of times I feel like it's just honestly exhausting for celebrities with like all the paparazzi and stuff.
Yeah. I want to say, it's kind of like, I met Amy Jo Johnson, which is the Pink Ranger, or the Pink original Power Ranger.
Yeah.
And I went up to her table, and she, signed my thing. And like, this is why I don't talk bad about her, is because when I went up to her, I could tell she was legitimately exhausted. I mean, she's been over there for hours, and her line was long. Yeah. So, it's just like, I get it. I'm not expecting no high angel coming down being like, oh my God, hey, how you doing, person? When you're signing the same thing 20,000 times, you get exhausted.
Oh yeah. No, that's the exact vibe that my sister and I got when we met the voice actors. Like we had some like questions we wanted to ask, but when we got there, we're like, okay, just let them go to break, because we can tell that they were tired and they needed a break. But it was still, I mean, we still got autographs, got to meet them, which is awesome. So we were happy.
I've only had like two people that were voice actors that I did not genuinely like. But other than that, most of the voice actors I've met have been super down to earth. They've been super caring. They'll be like, hey, how you doing? Keep it moving kind of thing. And it's really been cool. If I could get paid to sign my signature, that would be amazing. But, wishful thinking. It's all good.
Yeah. What about you? You never know what the future holds.
What about you?
Right. Me? Well, we have at the second convention we're going to, we're going to have like, they gave us the option to like sign photographs, or we can bring photographs or something to sign, and we can charge if we want to, or not. I chose not to. Just I saw it more as just like kind of like just more of a networking type of thing, like if anybody's there, they love horror, they might not know who we are. I do a lot of like horror content, so it might be a good way to just, somebody come up curious, like, hey, what do you guys do? And I show them my stuff. Hey, maybe it's like one extra person watching my videos. And but yeah, I mean, if I was ever like popular enough to the point where I was like a guest at a convention and they were like, oh yeah, you can sign autographs and stuff for money, I don't know, because I feel like at the same time, I also, a lot of content creators I know, they do Patreon, and I've never, they say they make so much money off Patreon too, and they're like, oh dude, you've got to do Patreon. But I've always felt so, I don't know what it's about me. I for some reason just don't want anybody that watches my videos to have to pay me extra or pay me money. Like they mean so much to me in that sense, if that makes sense, where I'm like, I don't want you guys to have to pay for extra content. I mean, I could definitely use it at times. But yeah, so I don't know, honestly, if I would or not.
I mean, we're trying to figure out if we need a Patreon. I agree with what Tank said. He has an idea for a Patreon, and I agree with it. I'm kind of like you. I'm torn. It's like, I don't want people to pay for it, because we're very positive promoting podcasts, and it's like, I really don't want you to pay for it, because I want you to have a good day. That's our goal at the end of the day, is for you to perk up and watch us and be like, I'm in a better mood. So I mean, I'm in the same boat. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it's 50-50 for me. On the one hand, I don't really want to, but on the other hand, doing it would allow us to do, so when we go to cons, we raise money for the Extra Life Foundation, and all that money gets donated to the children's hospitals. Some of it helps buy prizes. That way we can raise more money, helps us get to the con so we can raise money and all that. So on the one hand, it's, I don't really want to, but on the other hand, it's, well, if we do, it's more prizes or better prizes that we could raffle off
Yeah.
And maybe extend our reach. Go a little further for the next con. Because as it sits right now, we mainly go throughout like the Southeast. Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Arkansas, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a 50-50 thing with me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. First of all, then that's awesome that you guys do that and you help out. And I'd say that'd be even more of a reason then to lean towards doing a Patreon, because I mean, me personally, it's weird because on the other side too, I'm like, if I like somebody's content a lot, I might pay them on I might follow them on Patreon to see like more content. But then in my mind, I'm like, oh, but I don't want anyone. But like I'm doing it myself. But especially though, if somebody's donating, I'm going to be more likely to say like, oh, not only do I get to see more of their videos, but I'm also part of this is also going to help out with like you know what I mean? So I think that's awesome to do that, and I think that should definitely like help push you guys in that direction if you need any idea of which way to go.
Yeah, we definitely need as much help as we could, because man, we got on this podcast thing and we are still winging it. We're still winging it. I mean, I said this last episode. We got locked out of our TikTok. And it has just been excruciating to just restart it all back up, because I'm having to like a little fact check here for you, Tank. I'm having to get all of our old videos from our old TikTok, take off the watermark, re-upload them, redo them, and then do them to a certain standard now. So it's just like by the time I get done with just like 2 videos, I'm like, I'm done. I'm good.
It's exhausting. A lot of people never, outside of the content creator, a lot of people don't know just how time consuming it can be. Mm-hmm. Especially just simple stuff like uploading to multiple platforms at the same time, or re-uploading a video, but trying to like change the quality because it's an older video and you want it to like look a little more the way that your current videos are. Mm-hmm. So much of that stuff is so time consuming.
Well, see, that's one of the things that we talked about with our last guest, villain support. After as time goes on, you might want to redo the videos, but it's more along the lines of, is it worth it to redo it? If you've got that one video out, say it was done 2 years ago, is it worth it to redo that video? Are you going to be able to hit the mark and get that natural feeling, and actually reach people with it? Or if you redo it, is it going to just feel like just some robotic AI thing where, all right, guys, we redid it, we upped the video and the audio quality, but you don't get that natural connection with it anymore?
A lot of it, I think, is kind of just the vibes you get from it, because I've done a couple of times, maybe 3 or 4 times, with those old videos I had, and just from like a director standpoint, I'm like, okay, if I remake this video, I can make it so much better, and I'm pretty sure it'll go viral. And I was right the few times that I did do that. So I feel like you have to be selective. If you have like an old idea and you're like, I don't really like the quality of this, or I could have done this slightly different and it would have been so much better, I think those ones are worth it for sure, because I've done it a few times and it definitely paid off. And it's funny, I know Villain Support. I don't know if that's how you found me through them or not, but we did a collab actually.
Actually, no, I found you.
I saw that video though.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they did a collab.
Yeah, dude, it was. So his sister called John. It was like, hey, John, I need a new swiper right now. You have 1 minute to bring me another swiper. And John's just like, Levi, fucking get a new swiper clone, activate it now, send it to Dora right now. 60 seconds, do it. And I died laughing.
I didn't know that. No, I've been following you personally. I've been following you for many years now. I think first one I've ever seen of you and Brandy was on TikTok, and it was like, I wasn't a nobody. I was just some dude on TikTok. I scrolled through and I saw this whole and I loved how you did this. You made this whole story of just Dora. And I went down this rabbit hole of Evil Dora. And that's how I found you. And I followed you for many, many years. And then, I got up and now I'm here on a podcast with you, which I never thought would ever happen. I was, I send messages daily to people that I'm like, they're not going to answer, but I still try.
Surprise.
Yeah, surprise.
Oh, well, thank you so much for watching for that long.
Yeah.
But you guys, I love your guys' style. So yeah.
We have style? Oh, shit. Okay, my bad.
So what?
Hey.
So what got y'all started?
I wrote out all these questions.
Okay, and I'm allowed to ask questions too, ma'am.
Wait, can I ask one thing before?
Sure. Sure.
Is that the Gold Ranger staff behind you in the back corner tank?
Yes. So that is the Gold Ranger Zeo staff. I have one of the Megazords and the Thunder Megazord over here. Yes, Jay, it's still in the box. I have the Red Ranger's sword that one of our buddies got me. I don't remember why she got it for me.
Dumbass.
I don't know why. But yeah, one of our buddies bought it for me, and I need the 3D. I need to get the wall mounts for them 3D printed, because you can 3D print wall mounts that have the coin. So like it'd be the Tyrannosaurus coin, and then there'd be a coin with the Gold Ranger symbol on it that are wall mounts.
Oh, that's cool.
And then if you look up top there, I have some autographed Power Ranger Pops.
Oh yeah.
Power Ranger Cup. Power Ranger pictures. I'm a big fan of the Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, no, I grew up obsessed with Power Rangers. I got like a huge stash of all the toys and everything. And but yeah, no, this whole time my ADD just saw the shiny thing in the background and all the Power Rangers stuff. I just wanted to ask, is that the Gold Ranger staff?
I'm just saying, you would have never known that if you came on and he still had his lights off.
Yeah, see, I normally keep my lights off just so people aren't distracted, because I've got all that stuff behind me.
No, it's cool stuff though.
But yeah, so like Street Fighter and Power Rangers did a crossover. So yeah. I've got the 4 Ken, Ryu, Chun-Li, and Cammy right here behind me.
Oh yeah.
And the only one that's not autographed at the moment is Cammy, because I have no idea where her voice actress is.
That's awesome.
And what was your question again? I've already forgotten it.
How they get started, because I mean it's not like you're just gonna pop up one day like, all right, well, okay, I can't really say that because that's kind of what we did. Was, hey, you want to do a podcast? You know what? Yep. Fuck it, yeah. How'd y'all get started with well, first off, you with your horror, and then the Dora. Like, did Dora come first, or did the horror come first, or?
Well, I grew up, like, my 2 dream jobs as a kid was directing and voice acting. So I started off on YouTube like back in 2012, and at first I did a few skits back then, but none of them really stuck. But then I started doing voice impressions, and those like blew up. I think the first one I ever did got 30 million views, where I did like 100 voice impressions in under 6 minutes or something. And so I kept doing a bunch of those. That kind of became what my YouTube channel was for a while, like voice impressions. But then maybe like five years ago or so, my YouTube channel kind of it hit a plateau, and like I wasn't making stuff enough that I kind of like got pushed out of the algorithm. So then slightly before COVID and everything happened, I tried to start doing skits on TikTok, and that's when that kind of blew up. And all of a sudden I started taking those skits and putting them back on YouTube as shorts, and that like brought my YouTube channel back to life, to the point where I was able to do content creation full time. And I always wanted to do skits too. I love voice impressions, but skits have always been my biggest passion, because I like directing and writing. And as far as horror goes, I've been making horror skits forever. Even with voice impressions, I did one voice impression once where I just did like 31 Halloween or horror impressions. But yeah, if you do a deep dive, you'll see that all the horror stuff it goes it goes deep. It goes all the way back to the original stuff that I did. There's always been tones of horror and everything that I've done. I even had an old channel where I did like Lego stop motion. It was very family friendly, but even then I would have shades of horror like sprinkled in there. So I love horror in general, Halloween.
So deep dive researcher Tank got it.
See, here's the thing. Here's the problem is that I don't have to do a deep dive because I remember a video that he put up and it was an impression, but he sung music. He was doing impressions while singing. That was you, right?
That was me. Yeah. You might be thinking of Mike Myers. I gave Mike Myers like a really high voice. But I did some other horror characters too, but and it's funny because like I did that before I started doing Mike Myers skits. Mm-hmm. And but that's like one of my more popular types of skit series now is Mike Myers parodies. And I kind of give him this high pitch voice. Trying to like make him sound like he has like an elegant singing voice. But people seem to like that a lot. So but yeah, that's
stand in the mirror and go like, how did you
yeah, exactly. I just think the last possible voice you'd expect Mike Myers to have, basically.
Right, because he's always just standing beside bushes and ready to murder. I don't.
It's like that one pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean where they're like, "All right, well, I guess we're going to war," and it's like, "So we shall go to war."
Exactly. Yeah.
So I do have to ask you something.
Yeah.
Because I've watched many of your videos, and one of the skits that stuck out to me was this one where you made fun of your sister. And it wasn't just your sister. It was ladies, how they break their phones all the time.
Yeah.
And you always like when you do the skit, you're like, whoopsie, and you just like do everything you can to break your phone. So I guess my question is, did you just go get a burner phone and just smash a random phone, or
that's one of my favorite questions because every time that I'll put out one of those, all of a sudden I'll get a bunch of people in my DM saying like, "Hey bro, if you're just going to be smashing new phones, can you give me one?" And my response is always the same. I'm not rich enough to afford to buy real phones and like break them. I'm not making that much money. They're like $10 to $15 fake phones you find on Amazon. The ones like the display ones you see in the store, usually they repurpose those and they sell them as like fake like prop phones. So I'll just usually buy one or two of those every time that I make one of those videos. And at the same time, I also use them as fake phones in my normal videos too. So
yeah.
But
it's
they
better
break,
than my faults.
They break the same way normal phones do, though.
Yeah, so it just looked real, and you put the editing on there, and it was perfect. I loved it.
Oh, thanks.
For some reason, I instantly went to. You go to Walmart to the baby aisle, and it's got the Fisher Price little cell phones. Just grab a couple of them, and it's like, hey, nope.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Honestly,
like $6.
More. Yeah, that'd be cheaper.
Yeah. What about the I guess this is just for me. This is for me. This is my question. I haven't even asked one question that I wrote down, but it's cool. My question is, how'd you come up with the video of where you and your sister were playing around and you were Michael Myers, and then it was like where Michael Myers ends up becoming the best friend of your sister, but then he tries to kill somebody else, and then she gets mad about it. You know which one I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah.
And she's like, "Am I not good enough for killing?"
Is it the horror villains are racist one?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that one, that one is making fun of the whole trope in horror movies, how it's always the white girl, the white blonde girl that makes it all the way to the end of the movie. But horror movies, especially past ones, they did tend to be kind of, a little bit racist with who they'd kill off first. So we were making fun of that trope. I have a friend who's an actress, and she was in it. And basically, the video goes where my sister keeps tripping over. She's the dumb blonde, and she's just right there for the killing so many times. So such an easy kill. It makes sense to go after her, but the horror villain keeps stopping in his tracks and going after my friend instead, because the whole trope is supposed to be that horror villains are racist. And instead of going after the easy kill, And then at the end of it, though, they have like a touching moment where he realizes his error of his ways, and then he finally offs my sister, and he asks her, "Will you be my second victim?" with like a love letter and a heart, and she's like, "Oh, thank you." And then it immediately after that turns into a chase. But yeah, I was just making fun of that whole trope in horror movies.
And you just came up with it. It was just like, you know what, this is it.
Yeah, no,
that's great. I love that video. Sorry, Tank.
No, you're good. It reminds me of that one commercial where they're running from the villain and they're hiding behind something, and they're like, "Quick, let's go to the car." What are you, stupid? Let's go hide in the barn full of chainsaws.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
That's like they're out in the woods, or like, no, they're like by a cabin in the farm or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that commercial. That's funny.
So, speaking of, I'm going to ask a hard question here for you, man.
Okay.
And it is one that is on here finally. Have you ever faced any criticism, backlash for your content, and how did you handle it as a professional content creator?
Yes, not in insane amounts, luckily. It's more so just been I do a lot of horror comedy, but I also do dark humor at times.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been a few times where something I posted was somebody I'd see like somebody in the comments or something say that was something in it was a little bit too dark. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say like the specific things that they were or whatever, but that's like one of those things where, especially if you do dark comedy or just comedy in general, everyone has different levels of what they consider acceptable things to laugh at, and others. I'm one of the people that likes to use comedy to cope like with things, so I'll joke about things that I've gone through, but for somebody else that hasn't gone through it, it's sometimes, it's not exactly the same, and that's kind of something I've just had to like learn to always think about, because I never want to offend anybody,
right,
or trigger anybody or anything like that. But like so like I've had moments where I was really down and stuff, and so I used to make like old jokes about that stuff, but then I thought it'd be better to like show more positivity at all times and stuff, and kind of tread away from that, because I want to make people happy and make them feel like they can relate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's
I kind of just always try to think about everything I post, because I never want to post anything like, okay, this isn't too dark of a joke, is it? Like, this isn't too morbid, is it? And because I get morbid sometimes too, but you have to repress that, especially because like you can't have stuff like fake blood or anything on social media or so yeah, no, I'm always thinking about that stuff, and I feel like pretty much any creator is gonna face that kind of stuff eventually. But yeah, just gotta...
I think that's our problem right now, is that we do want to make people's day, and we do want to stay positive because we raise money for something that's bigger than us. And we don't want to say the wrong thing or offend anybody, trigger anybody, because we have people that mean a lot to us that do have triggers, and we don't want to be those people that make it happen. We want to stay positive. We want to be somebody that you cut on your computer or Spotify or whatever, and you're just in a shitty mood and you listen to us and you're like, oh my God, they got Josh on there. I'm happy. It's a creator I know. It's something like that. That's why we do it. And it just seems to work out. We're not huge. We're not, but yet, keyword. So, but we're gonna get there.
Speak for yourself. I'm 6'4". I'm a big man.
Oh, okay. Sure, whatever you say. So the next question for you is, and then I'll let you ask a question to make you feel better, Tank.
No, I'm making you feel better.
Thank you, buddy. So can you walk us through your content creation process? Like how's your ideas? What do you just sit down in your living room and you're like, I got it?
He talks to Sergeant Bones.
Oh, back there.
If you look, yeah.
That's I call her Bonita. She's one of the actresses in our videos. And actually, also, right over here, I also have this white like it's on me right here.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's Bartholomew.
I was like, why is he pulling a bowling pin out?
Yeah, yeah, they're in a relationship.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Okay.
Well, good for Bartholomew and Bonicia.
I hope everything works out.
Progress.
To answer your question though, I don't have like a process of okay, I'm gonna sit down and think of an idea. It's more so just I get random ideas and I put them down in my notes on my phone, and there's so many. I'm so unorganized, but I don't know if you can. Well, you probably can't see it, but right now I have 964 notes in my notes, and most of those, probably like 80% of those, are actual like video idea notes, and I just it's very chaotic, and I won't always come up with the whole idea together. Sometimes I'll just think of like one funny joke or a punchline or something or concept, and then I'll write that down, and then later my brain will like randomly say like, hey, here's some more data for that one idea you had. I'll push it from like 5% finished to like 60% finished, and I'll be like, okay, you want to fill the rest of that in there, buddy? And then I'm like, I'll come back in a couple weeks maybe with more stuff on it. And so like just like a constant like cycle of lots of ideas that constantly are being added to, and occasionally I'll get one that's just like all put together myself, or all put together in my head, and I'll jump on that. But so usually I just randomly get ideas, write them down in my notes, then I'll pick one and write it out. And filming wise, most of the videos we do are like the shorts, they're like only 1 minute long, and depending on what type of video you make, that sometimes can be an easy thing. But the way I do them, I'm so insanely perfectionistic. Like every costume change, every different spot that we film, that's a new lighting. Oh, really? Yeah. But yeah, so like 1 minute videos, like the Dora ones, for example, usually we film for 2 to 4 hours on average. And then I'll have like maybe 40 minutes of footage to look through to cut down to 1 minute. And then editing wise, usually it's another 4 or 5 hours. I think the longest I ever spent on one 1 minute video was a total of 30 something hours.
Wow.
But like I said, that's also, I'm very perfectionistic, and I like to edit a lot, have like a lot of different costumes and characters. I've got other friends that do sketch comedy, and theirs will be like much simpler. They'll just have a camera set up here. They'll have one character telling a joke, another character telling the joke over there, and they just kind of go back and forth, and it works perfectly fine. And I don't know why I cannot get my brain to stop being so perfectionistic and just be like, hey, you can make so much more stuff if you don't overcomplicate everything. But at the same time, I like editing stuff heavily. So
same.
Double-edged sword. Yeah.
Hey, every time I'm talking to him and he's like, yeah, I'm editing this or I'm doing that, I think of there's an episode of SpongeBob where they go into the future and Squidward is on the ground doing sit-ups and just screaming, future, yes. Except instead of future, he's screaming, perfect.
I don't think I'm a perfectionist, me personally. No, I mean, I like things to be in a certain order. I mean, I do. Okay, so so I do play Fortnite. I'm not gonna lie to you. And
yes, he plays.
Yes, I play. And I got my skins, but they're all in order. So, like, for example, all my anime skins are up here, my X-Men skins are up here, my Star Wars skins are down here. Like, they're all in order. And I told my wife that, and she's like, "You are super OCD." I was like, No, it just makes it look nicer. And she just looked at me and walked away, and I'm like, So I mean, I just like things to be good. I don't want them to be super perfect, but I want them to be nice and neat and organized. Is that a bad thing?
No, and like in your own way too. Like my sister Brandy, she's like the most structured person you'll ever meet, like down to the minute, schedules, details, and stuff. Her writing and her interacting with people is like super professional. She always jokingly says her friends say that she sounds like a lawyer. And I'm like the full opposite side of that. I have no organizational skills whatsoever. My room and everything just looks like chaos, but it's in my mind, it's organized chaos. I know where everything is. It just might not look good to other people. But that's the way that my brain works better. So, I mean, whatever works best for you, I think that's what you should do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're still learning. We're still learning a lot of this content creation, and we're still doing the best that we can, man. So let's see. Give me 1 second, unless you got a question, sir, Mr. Tank.
So if you hadn't gotten into the content creation, you weren't making your horror videos or anything, what do you think you'd be doing?
I don't know. Because this thing is like, before I could started doing content creation full time, I was like severely struggling to find a job. Like, I'd been working retail for like since I got out of college. I just been constantly in retail, and I was applying like to so many jobs. I probably applied to 200 jobs in a span of like a couple of years, and I was just struggling to get anything. And I went to college originally for film studies, but they had this really weird rule, and I couldn't do film studies because of the rule. The rule is basically, there's like 3 intro classes: film history, film equipment, and just like a film in general. And then for all 3 of them, you had to get a B- in them at least. And overall, between the 3 of them, an average of B. And it came down to the final exam of film history. I took that one the first because I wanted to get history done with, because I hate history. And I ended up getting a C+, so I was like really close. I didn't think it was a big deal. I thought I'd just retake the class next semester, but the school had a rule where it said, if you get a C+ or higher in any class, you can't retake that class, which means that people could have bombed the class and got an F and retaken it, but I couldn't, because I was caught in this weird loophole. And I found out later on the school changed the rule like a couple years later because of me, and I was talking to the dean and trying to like, get them to change it for me, because I went to the school for that. So I honestly don't know what I do, because I was struggling to like find anything aside from the retail that I was working, but I definitely would be pursuing voice acting on the side.
Yeah.
But that's all I can say, honestly. I have no idea. It's hard finding a job.
May never know.
Well, I think that's one of the beautiful things. You don't necessarily have to have, a path. That's one of the things about the future. It's never really written in stone. It's pretty much made as you go. So, I mean, while you could be working retail one minute, the next minute you could be managing, a super fancy dining chain.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
never really know.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, and it's weird too. Then as like my video stuff started taking off, I mean, nobody likes retail, but they were nice to me, and a lot of my friends were there and everything. And so like when I started taking time away from retail to do more content stuff, I actually started to kind of almost miss the interacting with my friends and stuff. Like, I didn't miss the retail part of it, but I missed they just because they were cool. And but yeah, no, it's I don't have any regrets for that. It was cool.
See, this is where I think I'm messed up personally, is because I like retail.
Really?
And like I'm a social, interactive person. I like to talk to people. I like to, have a connection with somebody that I don't know. Don't get me wrong. There has been some times where I just want to like falcon punch a customer.
Yeah.
Because they've been belligerent or whatever else. But for the most part, where I work now, I work at a pawn shop. I deal with customers all the time, and they're really cool. They're cool to talk to. I even run into some nerds. They're like, "Oh yeah, dude, I love Naruto," and I'm like, "You're my boy."
Yeah.
So, and that's what I told my wife, and I was like, "Is that weird that I like retail?" Like, so.
Yes.
No, yeah. I loved all the socializing part of it. Like I worked in the toy section, and I'm like a big kid at heart, so I'm like, that was like the only section in the store I was like an expert on. So like when the parents would ask like, "Oh, do you have the newest TMNT toys in or whatever?" and be like, "Yes, we do actually. We have Leonardo and Donatello. I can show you what those are at if you'd like." Or the kids would ask me, and at the same time when I was like organizing the section, the child me was also getting jealous. I'm like, why didn't I have all this stuff when I was growing up?
Right.
Ain't that the truth?
But I love this socializing part. I do like that part of retail.
And like now, you've gotten older. We've gotten older. And it's like I remember I used to have some white Power Ranger gloves that like every time you hit, it would make the noise and you would just hear yeah. And dude, they are over $500 right now.
Wait,
and
really?
I'm like, I had those. Why didn't I save them?
Allow me to regale you with my ultimate tale of stupidity.
Okay.
Pokemon came out. I played the crap out of it. The trading card game when I was a kid. Bought some trading card packs from a Dollar General. Opened up the very last pack. What did I get? A first edition holographic Charizard. Oh. Also got one from a buddy of mine when we were younger. I traded him. I don't remember what I traded him, but I got another one from him. Another first edition holographic Charizard. Well, as you get older, you kind of grow out of things, find other things to entertain yourself with. Well, I found out that day that shiny cards burn pretty colors, right? Fast forward, 20 years down the road, and you see a pristine PSA 10 first edition holographic Charizard selling for a minimum of $250,000.
Damn.
Just to the heart. Just shoot. Pow. Yep. I had $500,000 and I was like, ooh, pretty colors.
One of my friends, actually one of the guys who works in retail, he said that he used to have like a lot of the first wave of cards, first edition, and his mom sold them at a garage sale once when he was like away at college before he knew that they were going to get big. And I think I went through my decks too, and I nowhere close to that much money. I feel bad for you, but I think mine. I think I looked at it and I was like, maybe I could sell the whole thing for like $15,000. And I never played like with like the actual game with them, so they've always been like perfectly in the case and stuff. So I think I probably would have a lot of grade 10s or at least close to grade 10s. But I honestly don't think I could sell them unless it gets to a certain point, because I spent my whole childhood collecting those, like trying to complete the collection. So I don't know what the number would be, but they'd have to get, if they got like really popular and they were like worth six figures, then there's a very good chance child me would be very sad.
Yeah.
Because but
adult you would be very happy.
Yeah, no, but then I'm like, my childhood though for $15,000. That's like that won't last.
A number.
Yeah.
Right, let's see. I got this right here that I got. Believe it or not, Tank over here actually bought it for me, and I ended up going to get it signed. And it's still there. It is.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it is signed by JDF. Wow. And I also got the helmet. The helmet by itself, dude. The helmet is over $2,000 if I wanted to sell it.
Jeez.
And it's just crazy because the helmet is signed as well, but it's way up there. So,
he's like, I'm not reaching for that.
Yeah, because then all y'all guys will see is pants. So
don't risk dropping it either. Yeah.
He's the Power Ranger nerd. This guy over here, he is
all
Power Rangers, and then obviously I don't know if you can tell I'm the Naruto nerd. So love Naruto. I'm trying to get all of the mangas right now, but they are expensive. They are expensive. Okay,
them pops ain't cheap either.
ADHD, my bad, dude. So I'm gonna ask the big question that everybody probably asks you, and everybody wants to know. Are you ready for it?
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
How did we come up with the Dora idea?
So that was me. My little sister watched Dora growing up, and we'd made two Dora parodies already. The very first one we actually made was one about the map, and I always made fun of how annoying the song is, where he just sings like "I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map" over and over and over again. So I thought it'd be funny to make a video where Dora kind of just like finally snaps because he won't stop singing the song, and he accidentally what pushes her off the edge is he accidentally pushes Boots off the edge of like a high building, and Boots falls to his death. So that's what makes Dora finally snap, and she takes Map and she puts him in the fireplace and burns him. And that one did pretty well. I think got like maybe 400,000 views or something on TikTok. Then we made a second one making fun of Swiper, about how Dora can basically speak anything into existence by saying it 3 times. So he's trying to steal something from her, and eventually she says, "Swiper, no breathing," 3 times, because usually she says "Swiper, no swiping." So he loses the ability to breathe and he dies.
Oh.
And that one did better than the last one. I think the one got close to like 1 million views originally. And then I finally made one where it's like the most popular one, where Dora runs over somebody with her car. And that's the one where she brings out backpack and has him bury the body. And that's the one that like blew up. And I think that one's like sitting at like 40 million views now. So kind of just started out with the Map parody, and then I just started doing versions of the different characters, and the one with the backpack blew up the most. So that's the one I kept on like sticking with. And then as it went along, I started putting together like a backstory of everything that made Dora snap. And it's been like a long journey since then. I'm on like season 3 of this series now.
Well, I appreciate the journey. It's fucking hilarious.
I agree. I'm thoroughly invested into the seasons, because I remember that the last one that I can go back to. I mean, I'm caught up with your current ones right now as well, but the last one that I can remember was when Map ended up finding a box that Dora didn't want him to get into. And he basically was lying to her, but he had to get into the box. So that's what piqued my interest, was that video, because the whole storyline was just going and going and going. So I thoroughly enjoy it.
Oh, thank you very much. That's whenever we go to the conventions, that's like one of the nicest compliments I ever get, is when somebody says they like the stories or something in videos that I make, or the writing, because I love writing too, and storytelling and all that stuff. So yeah, that means a lot. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy them.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you do a couple videos essentially doing a multiverse where she goes through killing off herself, kind of like a Highlander thing? There can only be one.
Yeah. She, I think it was, we said 666 trillion other multiversal versions of herself she's offed so far.
Good Lord.
And she has that like one bracelet on that controls where she all goes, and it's great.
Yeah, she collects their bracelets as like almost like a trophy. So
what I'm hearing is, I'm going to say this very loud and clear. Brandy, you scare me. Okay. Anyway,
she's as a horror fanatic. Like I always help like direct her in the way that I want, like, because I thought I had the idea of like what I wanted her character to be like, but she's such a good actress that she like immediately always knows exactly the direction I want to go. And so yeah, she's so good at that, and she's so good at, I love working with other people when they want to like see her playing her character in one of their videos, because seeing their reactions to her when she like gets into character immediately, that's so much fun, because they're always like,
just like a switch, or
yeah, no, she's done it so many times that she's just like literally just a switch now. Sometimes she'll do like a little vocal warm up because the voice is like higher, but it comes very easily to her. Yeah,
well, that is scary.
Yeah. I stand by what I said. But yeah, what do you have planned for the future that you can tell us?
Well, I mean, constantly making new videos, more Dora stuff, of course. Right. I'm working on my own animated series. I'm putting together a pilot, and I'm gonna have animators animate it. And if it does well, I'm gonna put it on Kickstarter and see if I can get it picked up, or at least get enough backing that I can make a series that I put on YouTube. But it'll be a very similar style to Dora, with cute characters but like very, very dark humor and horror elements in it. And of course, me and my sister will both be fifth be in it.
Yeah.
That's probably like the big main thing that I'm putting together right now.
So yeah, I know you got what is it? A couple videos of other creators that I've seen, like the Russian door, like Tank was saying. How do you go about with collabing with people? Like how does that work out? How does that work?
A lot of times it's the first one of them, I reached out to her specifically first because I'd seen a lot of people in the comments saying like, oh, I want to see your Dora collab with her Dora. So I found her email on her website or her profile, and I emailed her and asked her if she'd be interested because we were going to VidCon and she was also going there. So we collabed, and then she was friends with the girl who plays Russian Dora. So the next year she was there, and so I met her, and then we became like all friends. And so it's kind of just like the more events and stuff you go to, you'll meet more people. But a lot of times too, you have to make the initiative and reach out. Some of the other creators I've worked with, I reached out first because I'm like, oh, I love your type of videos, and this character you play is exactly like who I'm looking for in a video. And even if it's remotely, it still works out. But you have to either make the initiative and reach out to them, or you just happen to have to meet at some convention or something like that. At least that's what I've found. Or connecting, knowing people that know people. That's another thing too. Me, my sister and I, we live in North Carolina, so we're like on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
But so many content creators live in California. They've all moved out to Los Angeles, and so I'm constantly seeing lots of my friends in each other's videos, just like constantly. And I'm always a little bit jealous because it's a great way to grow, because if you're on their videos, more people are going to see you, more people are going to come to you. But at the same time, it's nice if you know people that have like a similar work schedule, because it's a really weird work schedule and unorthodox. But then knowing, oh, I have this person here that could be in my video if I need another actor. Oh, I have this person here, and then we can all get together and have just like a day of making stuff. But North Carolina, there's not as many, so I do have my sister, at least that helps a lot. But I know a lot of other people who do sketch comedy, and they do everything by themselves, and it's so much nicer when you have people to work with, for sure.
What do you plan to do about getting into voice acting? I know you said you wanted to do some voice acting, but you got to direct and do content creating.
Yeah.
Have you done anything to set foot into that?
So I've had a few gigs, mostly, but they were all from somebody that saw one of my videos. Usually they'd see one of my impression videos, or they hear me doing a voice of a character, and then they're like, oh, I kind of need a character that has a similar voice like that, and they'd cast me in whatever they were doing. But the content stuff it's like so much just constantly working on that I legitimately have not had enough time to put together like a nice demo and reach out and try to like start auditioning for stuff. And that's probably like the one thing in my life that just like constantly kills me and eats away at me, because voice acting is like my dream job, and it always kills me that I'm not being able to like pursue that, because I love the content stuff, but right now I'm just trying to use the content stuff as much as possible to try to like branch out into there. So for example, coming up with the pilot for the animated series, where I'm going to do voices in that. If that happened to do well, then that'd be really good for a resume, or just trying to reach know new people as possible, networking for opportunities possibly. But that's the number one thing on my to-do list, to start auditioning for voiceover stuff, getting an agent and everything. Yeah.
Nice.
Slowly but surely, my guy. Sorry, I muted it because the cat kept meowing. So I guess this question's more for me because Tank is more composed than I am.
Yeah.
Don't you say a word. Don't you fucking say anything. Because he knows it's true. That's why.
Yeah.
So I guess this is more for me with your success. I mean, because you have numbers on your Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'd say you're a successful content creator, me personally. How do you keep motivated? How do you stay motivated with everything that goes on?
Well, I think it helps. Like, one of the things I always say is, for advice, anytime anybody asks, like, that's interested in content creation, I always say, be sure you do something that you actually have a passion for and you enjoy making, because if it's something you don't enjoy making, and it's gonna like, your burnout is a very real thing with content creation. And even though I love making all my videos and stuff, there are times where burnout gets to me, specifically with editing. I will get so burnt out from editing sometimes. And so I'd say that, oh my God, I totally forgot the question you just asked.
How do you stay motivated?
Oh, motivated, right. So I love making people laugh in general. So that's just naturally a passion of mine. And or just making videos, directing and stuff. It's all something I love to do. And I happen to be lucky enough that I'm at the point where I can do it full time. So that's definitely a huge motivator. But then also just using it to try to like help my voice acting stuff. Like because I know like the more connections I get, the more I get seen, the better chances are that I could possibly, actually break out into voice acting or get to direct my own horror movie or animated series or whatever. So I just use it like the passion, kind of like in the possibilities of getting to do new exciting things.
Right.
That's like the main thing, whatever. And I like making people laugh and entertaining people. So yeah.
Hey, that works. Tank, I'm sorry. I've been asking a lot of questions. You can ask something.
You're good. So, all right. So you do directing, you dabble in voice acting. You Dora videos, horror videos, everything. As someone that is constantly being creative, so like I run into writer's block when I work on my book. How do you get past that? Do you have like steps that you take that work for you, or like how do you keep the creativity flowing?
Yeah, I definitely get the writer's blocks too. Kind of like what I was saying earlier, how I don't always get a whole idea for a video at once. Sometimes it might just be like a punchline or something, or a concept.
Yeah.
So my thing that works best with me is I literally just move on to something else. If I can't get past the writer's block, I have lots of other ideas that I can maybe, look at and be like, okay, do you have any other ideas for this one, brain? And then sometimes they'll be like, nope. And I'll be like, okay, swipe to the next one. And because that helps if you just have like a lot of different things you're working on at the same time. You can kind of just bounce over to something else if one you're kind of stuck on. But if it's one that I'm specifically stuck on that I need to get done with, one thing I've felt that helps a lot with that, or even if anytime that occasionally I'll get anxiety if I haven't filmed a video for a while and like just acting in front of the camera. And one thing that helps a lot is I'll just do like with acting, I'll just do a really purposely over the top bad take, or voice acting, like horrible voice acting on purpose. And same thing with the writing. I'll write out like a horrible script, but it still kind of like goes in the direction I want to. Because then when I read it back and I'm like, okay, this is really bad, I hate it. It makes it easier to be like, this is so much easier to make this better. Does that make sense? Almost like, you kind
of do like a rough draft at first.
Yeah, but a purposely bad, horrible, as bad as possible rough draft, so that then it doesn't seem as intimidating, and you don't like have self-doubt, because you're like, okay, well, nothing can be worse than that. So that helps me a lot when there's like a specific video that I need to like push through and get finished.
So set the bar low. That way, when you go high, you're like, bitch.
That's what I did all my life in school too. Every time I took a test or whatever, I'd always convince myself like, okay, I definitely got a 0 on that. I didn't. And then, because then if you get it back and you're like, you didn't get a 0, you got a 55. You still failed. Be like, oh wow, that's 55. That's 55 points higher than I thought I got. Yeah.
Did a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Set the expectations as low as possible.
Yes, 60. I passed.
Yeah.
Like barely.
It works for me though. Yeah.
I can dig it.
I did that all the time in school. I would be like, Jay, I'm disappointed in you. You got a 67, but I passed, right? They're like, yes, you passed. I'm like, that's all I heard.
All that matters.
That's all that matters. That means I'm going to the next grade. So and then I went to high school, and
dun.
Yeah, that was screw high school. And then I went to college. That wasn't any better. But no, I'm sorry, Tank. Because I know you liked your college.
No, I mean it wasn't horrible. I enjoyed it, but definitely could have been better.
Fun fact: we went to the same college.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah. I met Tank at Walmart because he said something about Naruto, and I popped up like, "You like Naruto?"
He popped up like fucking Mr. Hanky during Christmas.
Oh no, so that's one of my favorite things about conventions is that everyone else is like a fellow nerd. So the second you hear someone bring up something that you like, everyone has the same whole like just popping up in the conversation.
It's like meerkats.
Yeah, it's like a lot of us are always we're socially awkward and afraid to like get into have conversations, socialize. But then like the second that it turns into something we like, we're like the most social people in the world.
Yeah. 100%. Like he's talking to a guy and he mentioned my favorite word and I popped up like the genie from Aladdin. I'm like, yo. And now he regrets the 13 years that we've been friends. So
I've been trapped for so long. I don't remember what it's like on the outside.
Bruh. Josh, before you go, man, do you want to shout out your socials? That way people know where to follow you, where to find you, things like that.
Sure. Yeah, my main account name on most of my platforms is Joshiiwuhh, so it's JOSHIIWUH. Or you can find me pretty easily by typing in Evil Dora, Creepy Dora, or on YouTube you can type in 100 voice impressions, and usually I'll be towards the top. So yeah, that's the best way to find me on those.
Okay. Do you have anything you would like to say before you head on out?
Nothing in particular.
The hesitation station.
Yeah, definitely follow the hesitation. Yeah, definitely follow the hesitation station. You guys, I love your guys' setup. I love your guys' dynamic and everything. I geeked out over all.
I just followed you on TikTok.
Oh, thank you. I think I followed you guys on Instagram. Followed you back there.
You did.
I'll have to do that.
Appreciate that. Too. All right.
I will search for you on all the other ones as well.
Yeah, I'll follow you on our stuff on our like actual podcast thing. Before I say this, guys, please make sure you follow Josh down here. He said all of his tags. You can find him very easily. That guy. I hate the whole reflection thing because there we go. And make sure you follow us. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, although TikTok's still under work. So just give us
breaking things.
So just give us a little time on that TikTok part. But other than that, we're everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, everywhere. You have that link tree down there right by Josh, and you can scan it, and it pulls up everything. So until next time, guys, we will see y'all next episode. Peace out.
Boy.